Yes, Augustine, as we were saying, the last question we had was that we have many formations, and one general thing that a perception that a lot of people have is that positional play is only able to be used with maybe a 4-3-3 formation, and you were just giving us the answer whether it's true or not.
Yes, I completely answered that question. I thought that 4-3-3 and 3-4-3 are really recommended for positional play because you create a lot of heights a lot of height in your possibility of pass, but it's not the only one. You can develop positional play with a 4-4-2 easily. Only you have to be concerned of the movements that you need to do to control the space, to be able to have a positional attack and a positional defense too.
Well, a good point that you raised, which obviously, I think when people think of positional play, they often think about only the attacking side. You mentioned how Guardiola talks about his experiences in Italy and how Italy taught him about organization, about placement on the ball. So could you tell us about how positional play maybe looks from the defensive side?
Yes, first, when you want to control the space, you want to gain initiative of the defensive phase. I mean, you want to be in control even when you are not with the ball. That means that you have several options. The first option is that, okay, if I control the space, I want to get the ball now, right now. So is that 6-second rule that you talk about, that Rijkaard was the first one to bring it, and then Guardiola kept it too. So if I am in control of the space, I can get the ball now again and I attack again. But it's not the only option. If I am in control of the space, I can also make you play to the areas where I know I can get the ball easily. So I can move your possession because I can, with my movements, I can move your possession to that area where I know I get the ball easily, and from there I am more dangerous. So it's both options. First, it's important that when you are attacking, you are controlling all the spaces so that you can press any space where the ball is. And secondly, you can choose all the time if you are going to regain possession immediately, or if with your movements, you are going to make them play to the area where you are going to press.
I understand that you wanted to show us some videos
Yes.
to further emphasize your point about positional play. I'm just going to make you the host so that you can do that. Are they ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me just make you the host. There we go. Yes. Okay. So Augustine is just going to show us some videos, which he has just to further emphasize his point.
The videos that I want to show you are example of advantages. And advantages are points of the game, points of the space in which my team, the team I play for, is able to transform the game in our advantage. You are going to see now that there are different types of advantages, and those advantages are going to lead us to a better situation. Okay? So let's go for the first video. Here is a Barca Tottenham Champions League game. And we are going to see here Leo Messi that he is trying to be controlled by this man, by this player, but he has reached an space where if he gets the ball, he will be facing the goal and his body will be protecting the ball from this guy. So that's called positional advantage. Okay, we will see now that he will get the ball, and even if he comes, his body will protect the ball from the opposition. Okay, now we see that positional advantage, as this player didn't run fast enough to follow him, it's a numerical advantage. He's alone. Now he's free to move. This other player is stopped. He's not going to for the moment to attack to try to recover the ball from Messi. And here we see that Luis Suarez up here, he is controlled by this player, but he's looking to that space, so maybe he can get a positional advantage between these two players. Here you will see Coutinho that was here a second ago and has run, so he's in a dynamic advantage. He is in a movement that is getting him advantage in relation to this player. Now we see that Luis Suarez has dropped some meters here, and now he's in a positional advantage in relation to this player, because if he gets the ball, his body will be protecting the ball from this guy. And this player, now he's controlling Coutinho. He's not controlling Luis Suarez. He has switched. So Luis Suarez now he's in a positional advantage. But as the passes goes here to the positional advantage, we will see that this player has switched again from Coutinho to Suarez, and he's now trying to defend Suarez. So he has left Coutinho in a numerical advantage. He's free now, so he can score. He didn't score this time, but Rakitic did it for him. So, any question about this video? Do you want me to replay it? Do you want me to ask anything concrete, anything about this video, or we go for the next one?
Okay. Does anyone have a question about this specific video? Just send the question to the group chat, or just raise your hand so that we can quickly take the question before we move on. Let me just give them a few seconds.
I think Kennedy is raising his hand.
Is he? Hold on, sorry.
I am the co-host. I can give.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Kennedy, you have the word.
Okay. Good morning, Agustin.
Good morning.
I'm a coach in Nigeria here. My name is Kennedy Boboye. Thank you. I work with the Nigerian under 23. I just left now. My question is that, what you just said, I think actually is the right thing. But you cannot have a formation that you want to bring into your team without having those quality players that can execute your dream, as in your formations.
I mean, I think you can. The quality players are in relation to the opposition, not in relation to Barcelona. I mean, you will have the quality players in relation to your opposition, not in relation to Tottenham Hotspur.
No, no, not to Tottenham Hotspur, to your own team. Before you think of bringing a formation like that, that what you just said, you must have a quality players that can execute those you dream of your formations in your team. Because without doubt, you have a problem.
Okay, I understand, Kennedy. You need quality players in relation to your own situation to develop those game principles. Yes, you need them, but there are quality players in all the teams. I mean, it's not only Messi a quality player. There are quality players all over the world. All over the world, and in all age groups, and in all academies, in all schools of football, they are players that are going to be able to play the game in the way that you are
You want.
you are thinking it.
All right. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Kennedy.
Yeah.
Is that the only question, or does anyone else have one? There isn't any in the group chat. I think you can go to the next video if there's no.
Okay.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Who's that?
Yeah, can I just add to what the other person just said?
Sure.
I think when it comes to getting quality players, I think yes, one can never get them as soon as you want, but you do still have to run a team. You understand? So, but Augustine said something when we started. He said coaches try to force players to play a certain way because they have a vision. And I feel like if you do have a vision, you need to know the players that you have, first of all. And if they don't have the abilities to play that vision yet, you can try to conform to what you have on ground for the time being to see that at least you get a result to get you to the next level you are going. So that was what I wanted to add. I don't know what you think.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's important. Who else is going to? Sunny, I give you the mic. Now.
Augustine, thank you. It was a very good video, the short analysis. My question is, in this kind of combination, how can we train this in training to help the players to play like this? What kind of exercise can we do?
Perfect. Good question. So I'm going to share my screen again so that I can show you some drills, some exercises. For instance, one of the first exercises I use to get this kind of experience for the players is the experience of having an advantage. So for me, it's really important that from the first moment, they are understanding, and not only understanding, but experiencing while they play what having the advantage means. And I normally use one possession game, really easy, without positions, without anything, only having a space to play, and a rule. The rule is really important for this game. And the rule is that the ball holder here, he cannot be attacked by the opposition if he's moving, and if he hasn't taken 3 touches, 3 contacts of the ball. So every time he gets the ball, if he is not stopped, if he's not in a particular point, if he's in movement, he's going to have 3 contacts with the ball to choose what is going to do next. If he's going to pass, if he's going to dribble, what is he going to do? Okay, so that is going to give him the sense of having those advantages that we have seen in the video. Okay, and after this acknowledgement of what an advantage looks like, we are going to be able to train in different contexts how to create advantages and how to take advantage of this same advantage. One of the drills I like a lot to make players manage advantages is this 3 against 1 rondo. It is really simple. It's a short, small game in which the players need to understand what are the position that is going to make his team to be in control of the space. Okay? For instance, the blue team here, they can think that they are in control in the space, but maybe they are not, because this player is able to intercept that pass and that pass too. So maybe one of these players has to come closer, get closer, over here or over here, or maybe one of these players has to move far away so he can move the opponent at this point to control the space. For instance, in this second example, in this same drill, even being 3 against 1, the position of these two players is not getting any advantage, so it's a 1 against 1. They lost all the numerical advantage they had, and now it's a 1 against 1. And if they don't move, or this player dribbles, or something happens, they are in a bad position, in a bad situation. And this third situation is a situation in which this player can pass to this other, but maybe this other player can move to have a passing line too. Okay, so this is an exercise. The first one that we saw, it was to experience how an advantage look like, and this one is that one that demands movement to get advantage, or to keep the advantage that we are given, because it's a 3 against 1. Okay, those are two possible examples of how to coach it, how to train it.
Oh, was that the only video you wanted to show?
No, let's go for it. But there are questions now.
Okay.
I see a lot of questions in the chat.
Yeah, there's quite a few questions. Go ahead.
Let's do another video and then we go for all the questions. How do you see?
Questions. Okay, no problem.
Okay. So this is another situation in which this player is in a dynamic advantage because he's moving towards another place, and because of this movement in relation to this player that is stopped, he has an advantage. If he gets the ball in his foot, he's going to be able to overcome the situation, and if he gets the ball in a future space, he's going to be able to get it too. So he's in a dynamic advantage that is an advantage based on movement. He is not getting the ball, Messi is, and Messi has seen another colleague, another player that he has a really good relationship with. They are really empathic, the left wing of Barca and Messi. So that together with the dynamic advantage, because this player is also running faster than this player in this moment, is going to transform this space in a space of a bigger value for Barca, as we will see. You see that that's really more dangerous for Barca than the other. And we see that in this situation, Messi is in a position of little advantage. He has no advantage here. He's not going to be able to get the ball. These players are controlling this area. So Barcelona is going to try to get an opportunity. And how they are going to do it? Because Messi, now in the last 2 seconds, has run faster than this guy, so he's going to control this space. And with that space control, he's able to score. Let's go for another video. And here we see Suarez, the striker, that is getting the ball, but he's not in a positional advantage. He is in a disadvantage situation because if he gets the ball, he's going to be with some press of this man, and he's going to be facing his own goal and not facing the opposite goal. Okay, so he's back to the opponent goal. So he's in a positional disadvantage. He's not going to be able to play forward. But what is going to happen is that he has a really empathic relationship with this other player, and that is going to transform this disadvantage into a really good advantage, because they are able to read this situation together so that they transform the situation into a numerical advantage situation with a high goal expectancy value. And this guy is able to get closer, so he has a bigger advantage, because in this situation, the scoring probability will be lower than in that point that he's now. Okay, so that's why he scores, not only because he's good, but because when he gets the ball, he always finds the best possible scenario to finish. Okay, and with those 2 more videos, it would be it. Let's go for the questions.
Okay, let's start with some questions. Let's start with the first ones. Okay, Coach Rashid says, yes, quality players for the game, but I think the most important here is for the coach to understand the concept of positional play. Then you can teach it extensively. Is he correct?
Yes, for me it's important. It's the most important thing, because only a coach that understands the game is able to see the quality of their own players. For most of the coaches, that they don't understand what the impact of a good player is in positional play, in the dynamics of positional play. Only Messi is a good player. When I see how my own players that are not that good can impact the game, I see their quality. I can only see their quality if I am able to understand the impact, the possible impact that they are doing in every moment of the game.
Thank you for that, Augustine. The second question here is from Oalva, who says, is a local... Oh, sorry. Augustine, could you make me the host again?
Yes, I will. How can I do that? You are the host now.
Thank you. The question here from Oalva is a low compact block a good tactic to play against positional play and hit on the counter attack?
What's the question about that?
Well, they're trying to ask whether would a good counter tactic or a tactic that would work against positional play, would it be would playing a low block, so a deep defensive line?
Understood the question. So what happens when you face a positional play team? That positional play team, they want to control the space. And if you are not good at controlling the space, they are going to beat you easily. So the easier thing that you can do is that, okay, we are going to give a lot of space for them, and we are going to get a compact low block, and we are going to control only this space, because they are really good at control space. So we are not going to be able to battle in a big space with them. So the only thing we can do is, okay, let's try to concentrate, to focus on this space of our box that is really important for us, and try to see if in the moment of chaos, in the moments where they cannot control the rest of the space, we can hit them. And that's a competitive strategy. That's a good strategy that has been done for against positional teams again and again. And sometimes it's successful because it's logic. They are good at controlling the space. I cannot try to battle for space. I will reduce my space a lot and try to hit them when they are in chaos, when they are not able to control the space.
I like the word chaos, which you used also in your book. I think that is an important part of positional play, which I think people need to understand is disorganizing the opposition, is to put them in a position which they're not comfortable. So I think that's a very important concept. We've got a similar question. It says, how do you beat a compact deep block if they're limiting your runs in behind? I think that's similar to the previous question, but
no. That's a different question, and that's a really good question. So, if you cannot control the space inside the box because they are not letting you do runs, you will have to shoot from distance, or you will need to create chaos in their own box with a lot of runs, with crosses, not letting them. I mean, if they are in their box, they are going to be in the box for 90 minutes. So you can shoot from mid distance, from long distance. You can cross. You can create movement so that you try to attract people from that space to create a small advantage over there. So you need, or you attack from outside the box. You shoot from long distance. That is really important. If you are going to have a positional play attack, you are able to give that challenge to the opposition. Or you have to create chaos in that low block. And that chaos, you have to create it by overloading places of the box, or attracting people that are in the box to create a small space so that you can go in there and score, or you can dribble so that you go inside the box and there, or you get a penalty, or you get a small space so you can finish. So there are all those possibilities that are really difficult, because attacking tiny spaces is always more difficult than attacking in bigger spaces. They demand more quality and more concentration, because there will be fewer little time to react.
Thank you for that, Agustin. We have a question here, but I don't quite understand, so I'm going to let the coach ask it himself.
Of course.
Sorry, let me just unmute you. Oh, let me do that again. Coach Henry, is it?
Yeah.
What is your question in regards to formation?
I am talking about the situation where you are talking about players playing for positional play and things like that, and trying to gain position of space. And I'm asking from the standpoint of players' inability to understand or assimilate things like that, what will the coach, do to make his players, at least, teaching young players it's a very difficult, situation, trying to make them play positional, football, and where they are not assimilating this kind of formation or whatever. What is what will be the assistance of the coach to such players? Because I'm coach to young players.
Perfect. Well, really good question. For me, there are two tools that are going to help you in that formation. The first one is rondos. Rondos are those drills that are designed to keep possession, but by controlling the space. You are only able to keep the possession if you control the space. And in those drills, and after those rondos, you need something that is similar to the football game, that is not so far from a real football game, that are positional positional games, short positional games or big positional games. Those are possessions without goals, in which those players are behaving in a position. They are acting as a position of your formation. I mean, this is your central defender, this is your fullback, this is your central midfielder, this is your striker, and they are keeping possession, but they are respecting distances, they are respecting locations, and they are interacting from those points. You understood? For me, these are the two main tools that you can use: the rondos and the positional games.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, well,
thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let me find the next question. Coach Nero asks, can you achieve positional play and not dominate possession? Is it possible?
Yes, it is possible. I like the teams that do that, because they are the ones that they control the space without the ball, and when they are with the ball, they are really quick, they are really fast, they are really electric. And for instance, for me, Liverpool, the European champion, is one of the teams that control the space without the ball, and with the ball, they are clinical, they are really quick with it, and they don't want to keep it. They want only to attack, they want to be straightforward. Okay, so for me, it will be a really good example of a team that controls the space without the ball, because they are all the time in control of what happens in the game, no matter the situation. And when they get the ball, they are really forward with it. They know how to get chances easily, and they are really good. I like them.
Thank you for that answer. And final question that we have is Coach Sonny. Sorry about that. Coach Sonny?
Yeah.
Your question in regards to the technical ability?
The quality of the player and the ability to control space, to understand how to control space. What is the relationship? Do you have to be high quality player like Messi, or you can be just any player and understand how to control space?
For me, there are players that are reason with it. I mean, I don't know if they are born with it or they intuitively get it really fast. They control space without any order, without any information from the coach. There are players that if you help them see what happens when they control space, when they don't know control space, they get it really quickly. And there are other players that they simply don't get it. So maybe you have to make them or put them in functions that you don't need that kind of interpretation of the game, of the spaces, that they only have to do things that are not in the things that there are players that are really good individually, but they are not good in relationship with other players or what is happening at every time. So if you can give them a function in your team that are a little bit isolated, that are not that the relationships with the others are not that important. For instance, imagine that you have one of these players that is not able to control spaces, but he has a good talent for stealing the ball or for winning the ball in the air. So maybe you can train him to be a central defender, and the other defender will need to compensate the movements of the one that is independent. You will have someone that is independent and the other that is dependent and will have to compensate. And if he's the forward, the same thing. You will have a forward that is independent, that he's self-reliable, he's only playing for himself, and the other one will be saying, okay, if this guy is doing this, I will need to compensate with this movement, with this the other kind of support.
Thank you for that, Coach. Okay. Give me a second. Coach Augustine, how many minutes have you got left?
Maybe 5, 10.
We've got a number of questions, but we still want to talk about your book as well.
Okay, let me talk a little bit about the 2 books. The first one is the one of Guardiola, Play Like Guardiola's Barcelona, and it's in English. So I will try to the one that John is showing, Play Like Barcelona's Guardiola's Barcelona. Okay. I have another one over here. I see it. This one. I don't know if it is easy or not to get it in Nigeria or in other countries.
Could Coach John just quickly show the book again, please? Coach John?
Yeah, so this is the book, and I'll let Augustine.
Could you lift it up just a little bit higher?
Okay, a little bit.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
That's much better. Thank you, Coach John.
Welcome.
Augustine, sorry, you were saying.
Yes, and 5 years later, 5 years after the first book, I have been working a lot in the second book that has been launched now in Spain. It's only in Spanish for the moment. If you don't know Spanish, you will have to wait a little bit. And it's called Face Space. And is about football through the perspective of the advantages that I show you in the videos. The videos that I show you are good examples of the content of the new book. That is this positional playing, but through the perspective of the advantages. How do we get those advantages? How do we create those advantages to control the space, to control the game in general, okay? I am working on translating it to Portuguese, and after that, I will work in translating it to English. So please give me 1 more year, at least 2021. I hope I can have it.
Okay. Well, how many minutes do you have left now? Sorry.
No, 10 more minutes. Let's go for the questions and everything.
Thank you very much. Okay, next question. How do we give reference to players to respect position? With cones or just information and open play?
What a good question. I like it. So for me, cones are really important. Really, really important, because they are going to be able to visualize easily in the first moments of a specific teaching what are the borders that they can use, or the spots where they can be. And I really like to put cones so that they can see what are the limits of their movements, so that they have kind of frontiers of their able of positioning, but have taken into account that they can switch. I mean, I have these frontiers here and my other player has these frontiers, but we can switch, and now we have the frontiers of the other two. So this positional play also demands some switching, because there are times that you need to do that to control the space or to overcome the opposition.
Thank you very much for that, Agustin. The next question is, what are the differences between playing direct and keeping possession of the game?
The difference of playing direct, okay, for me there is a big difference. And you can play positional play with long balls too. I mean, it's not only short passing that you can do with positional play. You can play long balls too, but you have to create contexts for those long balls. It's not only sending the long ball and waiting for a miracle to happen. The direct play is based on that. It's based on, okay, we want the ball in your roof, we want the ball in your side, so that we are going to send it no matter how, no matter where, and we are going to fight for it there. So it's not a pass, it's we are going to send the ball there, and there we are going to fight for it. So we are counting on error or on a mistake of the opposition, or we are counting of us being able to be more aggressive, more successful at winning that ball. But the big difference is that you can play long balls from in a positional play, but you are playing to another player that is in advantage, that is going to be able to receive the ball and take use of it. In a direct play, you're going to send it, and then we will see what happens if we win it.
Thank you for that. The next question is, how important is the concept of a false nine? And would we see more teams not having a forward in the number 9 and have more midfielders to control the central space?
That's a good question. The false 9 is not new. It has been here for a lot of years. The first false 9, one of the first false 9s, was Johan Cruyff as a player in the 70s. He was a forward, a 9 that played all through the pitch. He didn't respect any position. He was controlling the space, but anywhere he went to all the spaces. What I mean is that some time ago, with a Sunny question, I answered that one of the main principles of positional play was having players in the buckets of the opponent block, and one of the possible players that is going to occupy these buckets is the 9, the false 9. If he drops a little bit, he is not seen by the midfielders, and he can be placed in their backs so that he gets a ball, turns, and goes. So that's one of the key things of the false 9, that he's not seen by the midfielders, and he can go to their backs to control that space. But that's not the only position, the only possibility. The 9 can be a normal 9 that is fixating the central defenders, and that position in those pockets can be occupied by a false 11, false 7, a false winger, or by a midfielder that simply goes high, and plays himself in that bucket.
Okay. We're going to take 2 more questions, and then we're going to end there. Coach Shegun asks, please, can you elaborate more on DTI?
On what? It's not for me. It's not for me.
Give me a second. Coach Shegun?
Hi, Agustin. First things first, I like to say I'm a huge fan of your book, but I was asking about DTI, which you mentioned, defensive tactical intensity in your book, about how teams defend. And
I love that concept.
Yeah, so I don't fully understand the concept. I tried as hard as I could to understand the concept in the book, but I think I just wanted to know if you could just elaborate a little bit more on what it means and how to understand it.
Good. So the defensive tactical intensity is like a factor that can measure how intense is your team in defense, no matter if you are playing positional play or anything else. But they are saying that you can defend in a low block, mid block, high block. Okay, you have these three possibilities, and between these 3 possibilities, you can have 3 different attitudes towards the ball too. So you can can be in a low block with a really aggressive, active, proactive recovery behavior, so that in that low block, you are Atlético de Madrid and you are eating the ball, okay? You can be in that low block, as Real Madrid is sometimes in that low block, and you are really passive in that low block. So you just are letting the other team to make a mistake so that you regain possession. Okay? And there is a third way that is not only that you are aggressive, but that you are super aggressive, that you want to get numerical superiorities in that defensive zone. Imagine you are in a low block and you are not only 1 by 1 trying to get the ball back, but you are going with 2 or 3 players to regain that possession. Understood? So you can have different kinds of intensity, that defensive intensity, and this DTI, this defensive tactical intensity, will depend also if you are doing it in a low block, that you are controlling less space, in a mid block, that you are controlling more space, or in a high block, that you are going to try to control all the space with this kind of intensity. Imagine that, I don't know if you remember that match, but 2 or 3 years ago, I think it's 3 years ago, Barcelona play at home against Paris Saint-Germain, and they had to come back from a 3-0 or something like that.
Is that the game? Was it 3-0 or the 6-0?
It was 6-1. The result was 6-1, but the first leg was 3-0. I think.
Yes, it was. That's correct.
It was really difficult.
Yes.
So for that game, Barcelona had to high a high block with that intensity, that more than one player was going to attack the opposition at every time. So that, for me, that was the highest intensity, defensive intensity ever. I haven't seen anything like that. That in all the pitch, all the Paris Saint-Germain players that had the ball, they were facing a press of 1, 2, 3, or even 4 players of Barca at the same time. So those defensive tactical intensity is a factor that helps you read or compare what is the intensity of a team defensive-wise. And it depends of the quantity of space that they control and the aggressiveness of them controlling that space. Is that clear? Did I answer your point?
Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you.
Augustine, as you said, you only have 10 minutes, so I think we're going to end it here. We would like to say thank you for coming on and sharing your insights and for talking with us today and answering our questions. Coach John, would you like to say something?
Thank you very much. I took some notes, definitely learned 1 or 2 things, and definitely improved what I knew, and I hope the same for the others as well. Thank you everybody for joining us, and special thanks to Mr. Agustin for your time with us. We hope that we can have you sometime in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I am really happy to meet all of you today here and to share some of my experience with you. What do you think if we plan another meeting, maybe next year when we have the English book, so that we can share some of that content here with all of you, and we chat again.
Oh,
sounds very good.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Once again, Augustine, thank you for being with us, and we really appreciate you coming today.
Thank you very much. Hope the best for all you. Stay safe, and let's enjoy this life that we are living.
Yes, thank you.
Hopefully.
All right. Bye, Augustine.
Bye.
Okay. To everyone who participated today, thank you for joining us. Me and Coach John, we are planning to do more of these webinars to really help push coaching forward, to really help particularly Nigerian coaches to really upskill as much as possible. Coach John?
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Definitely we'll be doing some more in the nearest future. Hopefully you can join us as well. Also want to recognize some of our senior coaches. Mr. Boboye, thank you very much for joining us. I don't know if you have anything short you want to say to us.
Let me unmute him.
Keep up doing the good work, stay safe. It's going to help us one way or the other, seeing likes like you trying to beef the system up and to other coaches back there in Nigeria and diaspora too as well. I wish you guys well, and I wish you good luck in everything you do in the training sections and things to come.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
So I think, Coach John, we're going to end it here, and I hope everyone has a good day. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.